What's going on, guys? Back at again with a brand new video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing some more Bitcoin and altcoin analysis. Now I do believe some interesting things are happening, and I believe that maybe some key things are to happen very shortly, and so this has to happen if we want to see an all-blown alt season and for Bitcoin to continue going higher. But I believe Bitcoin is going higher, and I'm going to explain to you why. And now I'm walking in my garden because it's actually one of my last days here in Bali in this resort. So I'm going to be just enjoying nature a bit while I talk you through all the analysis, okay? So let me put this down and jump right onto the charts. Now, beautiful background, right? It looks like I'm in a bloody forest, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I mean, if we look at the charts, so the last video I made on the technical analysis played out almost perfectly. Now the video was posted a bit later, right? So it was a bit delayed, but exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. So we did break down this downwards trend line, and we pushed up and broke above this red line, which is the 23.6% retracement, and we actually closed daily almost smack dab, and now we're pushing higher, right? So one thing I do want to talk about, which might be a bit of a red flag, but I'm not too worried about because it does happen quite often, is actually that we have not closed the CME gap. So the market opened and we have not retraced back to the CME gap. However, we also have a CME gap all the way right here, 96,000, which happened a while back ago. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It is possible that we start dropping below and start filling the CME gaps, but some gaps stay closed now, stay like not retested, right? It does happen like maybe 10% of the time. So I do hope that's that, because I'm going to explain as to why, right? So anyways, so we're pushing upwards on Bitcoin. We do have the upper Bollinger Band. So as soon as we break above the Bollinger Band, which also perfectly aligns with this line of previously support, now resistance, if we break above there and have a daily candle close above there, then I do see the likelihood of a upward momentum increasing, okay? So one thing also I want to talk about is the liquidation heat map. So if I go on the 3-month liquidation heat map, we will see that most of the liquidity actually rests above, right? And so Bitcoin especially tends to go grab the liquidity, so everyone gets wrecked. Basically, all the short sellers get wrecked most of the time. The liquidity does get grabbed, right? So most of the liquidity on the 3-month chart is sitting to the upside. However, if we go on the weekly, we do have quite of liquidity to the downside now. I would say it's almost, when this loads, we have more liquidity to the downside, right? So actually, right now, it looks like we're most likely going to come grab this liquidity. I'm sorry about all the noise. It's very loud here in Bali. Idiots with bikes. Anyways, yeah, so it is possible we come grab the liquidity here. However, I'd rather that not happen. So in the short term, this might be good that we grab the liquidity, but in this case, I would not believe so, because then here, either way, the CME gap sits around here. So if we close there, that's fine, because at least the CME gap is closed, but I really don't want to see it go any lower, because if we go any lower, then we will reject this break of the downward trend line. And also right now we're at the 23.6 retracement. So this is very important level, and I've been talking about that in the last video. And we did see a candle close above there. So I mean, right now it looks prime for more upwards momentum, right? So if we go in the BTCD, so the dominance, so it has not dropped as like that much. Like we did break under this support line, but we have not seen the drop yet. Now, Bollinger Bands are very, very tight. So Bollinger Bands tend to tighten when volatility is coming. So big breakout should happen. Now, hopefully this, as my theory, is this breaks the downside, which would start a new somewhat alt season. And then we have started to see altcoins starting to perform again. So as you can see, this is the, let's say, altcoins excluding the top 10. So this is all altcoins excluding the important ones. So now we have a big downward resistance line somewhat. I think this one is valid, even though now we have more touch points, but I do think this one was valid too. So this one was valid, we broke above it, and now guess what's happening? Right now we're retesting the Bollinger Band. So as soon as we break daily close above the Bollinger Band and the Bollinger Band expands, then that's going to be a confirmation that we're most likely going to start coming up. And actually, the fact that the Bollinger Band is not too far from the trend line, I could probably lower it somewhat like this, and that would make quite a bit of sense. So Bollinger Band and downward trend line break. A Bollinger Band break and a trend line break, that's very bullish, right? So right now, BTC looking good, right? We have to ideally, this CME gap doesn't close because this momentum is great. So it wouldn't be good if we start dropping again and losing that bullish momentum. So ideally, we leave the CME gap behind and we go fill up this CME gap, and hopefully we start getting some momentum and start breaking out of this Bollinger Band. I would say in a statistics wise, I would say right now it's 80%, not 80, what am I saying? I would say 60 to 65% bullish. So actually going long right here is, I would not say it's a bit late. I would have gotten in here at this break, which I have, but it's not the worst shout. But again, this is not financial advice. But yeah, so altcoins looking good. That is if Bitcoin keeps coming up and Bitcoin dominance keeps dropping, right? We do want to see Bitcoin dominance start dropping heavily, right? So we already broke this uptrend. So now we want to see a break below this Bollinger Band ideally, and then we can start seeing more of an alt season. So hope you guys like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below what you think is happening next. Maybe a bullish catalyst, or maybe something in the markets that people have not been paying attention to. So without any further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.